first encounter that I really knew of. And it wasn't really an encounter, but it was about in 1983, I believe, 83 or 84. And I did all the winemaking at the time, and our equipment was, to say the least, a lot smaller than what we have right now. For example, all of the wine was filtered through a 3/4 inch hose, which is about that big around. If you saw some of the hoses hanging over there, now they're up to, I think, a 6-inch diameter hose that they use. So it took quite a while to filter a tank of wine. We had one tank that sat right along this edge. It held 1,850 gallons. Or it was measured for 1,850, but we could get in about 1,700 gallons. And we only made cherry wine at that time. So I was filtering that tank of cherry wine, and once you open a tank and start filtering it, you really like to do the whole tank. So it got to be about, I think, close to midnight before I was done. The wine wasn't filtering very well. At that time, we bottled on the story right above this was our bottling room. The wine was pumped up and we bottled it up there. And we always had extra bottles to label because we hand labeled all of the wine back in the early 80s.
Child labor.
So what I would do is as the machine was running, it had a drip pan underneath as the wine was forced through the pads. Eventually that drip pan would fill up, and about every 20 minutes to half an hour you'd have to drain that drip pan, pour that back into the tank, and recirculate it back through. But instead of just standing there watching the machine, I would go upstairs and I would label some wine. So I probably made about, I don't know, maybe 50 trips upstairs in between because I was filtering for like 16 hours. I think it was close to the last trip. I was on my way up the steps. This was about maybe 10:45 that evening. And on the middle step, there was a can of Bud Light beer. Open. Cold.
Wow.
Where did it come from?
Wow.
The doors were all locked. I was the only one in the building. I had been up and down the steps, like I said, every 20 minutes to half an hour.
That's a nice
No, okay.